So like this, the juice comes. You just apply this to any wound. Yes.
It's basically nature's betadine.
I have been using as a Dettol for all my kids. It can also grow in a balcony garden. And as per Ganesh Babu, every plant, including Parthenium, has a medicinal.
It's up to us to discover what
Yes,
its use is.
Yes. So it's neutral right now. Okay. So you're not yet grounding, but it's not negative, but it's neutral. So we will first try the basil spray, the tulsi spray. Ah, okay.
Some movement is there.
Yes, yes. So now your energy is positive. So this helped your energy to ground. Now you're earthing.
But what about snakes? That's what viewers would ask. Why are you walking barefoot? There could be snakes around.
Oh, initially I used to be so terrified, like every step I keep.
Oh, there's something that I found here. Pomelo?
Yes.
Or something else.
No, this is supposed to be some wild.
Some wild
I
lemon.
had made the saplings at home. It was supposed to be tangerines,
Okay.
but this came.
So today we are at this beautiful farm. It's called Devarakadu Natural Farm, and we are going to talk about what a Devarakadu means. And the first thing that I wanted to show you is this. So as I enter this farm, I see this beautiful wooden gate. Hi Smita, how are you?
Hi Shamik, good to have you here.
Yes,
Welcome.
absolutely. We are going to talk about some very interesting sustainability concepts today.
Yes.
We are also going to talk about the company that Smita runs called PraanaPoorna Collective, and we are going to talk about how this farm plays a role in that and in Smita's journey as
Yes,
well.
correct.
So Smita, I think I've heard this term quite often, Devarakadu, but I have never completely understood what it means.
Yeah.
So if you can show us the Devarakadu.
This is a 3-acre farm.
Okay.
The quarter acre is dedicated for the biodiversity,
Okay.
mainly for the snakes and the birds,
Okay.
so that ecosystem is not disturbed.
Okay.
What we also did
And
was
is there a
planted-
reason why, like, if you are creating a Devarakadu inside your farm,
Yeah.
is there a particular position you should create it in, or it can be anywhere?
Yeah, I chose the northeast corner because that is the Devaru.
Okay.
And
What does that mean,
also
Devaramulya?
in Vaastu, that's where the energy flows
Got
into
it.
the space. So
Got it.
northeast corner is considered
Got
that.
it. Got it.
And also I went with the instinctively. It was like the land was telling me what to do. Also, there was no water here.
Okay.
So the main reason was how to bring back water was the question.
Okay.
So as part of my meditation, when I was deeply questioning, I got some 3 solutions
Okay.
to look at how to revive the water. And also I felt very guilty that our kids will not have same kind of access. So one was this will help with the natural regeneration of groundwater.
Acha.
So I didn't understand at that time. Over the years I started understanding how the leaf mulch, and this is how a forest ecosystem functions. Especially the condensation happens even without a rainfall, and that is what starts percolating deep
So
into the ground.
Devarakadu is not just from the spiritual angle, but even there's a very clear functional angle.
Absolutely. So
that
it
brings
is-
back water into your farm,
Yes,
and
spiritual ecology is about our existence, and it's not just the physical aspect, energy, and inviting the other energies to come in here to balance the whole ecosystem.
Got it.
And some of the medicinal trees planted here are rare and endangered species.
Okay.
All of them were sourced from FRLHD.
Okay.
That I aim. Ganesh Babu was who chose the saplings, and few others I added, like the people tree and all. I wanted it in the center.
Got it.
The forest department.
Got
Some of the saplings.
So as we go through the
Yes.
Devarakadu, first thing, what does Devarakadu mean for people who are watching this from
Devarakadu
all
means
parts of
God's
India?
forest,
Okay.
and this was an ancient practice all over India.
Okay.
They call Nagabanas, or Devarakadu is predominant in Kerala
Okay.
and Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
And these were spaces where only the native healers would go in to harvest their medicines.
Okay.
It was never meant for any commercial use,
Okay.
because it was supposed to be for the biodiversity and conservation.
Okay. Were they near temples or anything like that, or not necessarily?
No, these are large spaces, and
Okay.
there was always a water body near it.
Okay.
So the groundwater, either a well or a pond, was always near it, and that was what was stopping the landslide.
Got
So
it.
when these huge trees, the roots percolate deep into the ground, and most of the native trees, they say, will have a water collection underneath.
Okay.
And that is something we are yet to, I think the researchers are yet to get deeper into this.
Got it.
And most of the raw materials for all our medicines, whether it is allopathic or the traditional medicines, the sources are from our forests.
Wow. Okay.
And because we are over harvesting it in our forests, they are becoming rare and endangered.
Got it. So you had bought this land about
In 2011,
2011, so about 13, 14 years.
it was barren. It
Completely
was like
barren. Okay.
Yeah, there was, this area was famine hit almost. There was no
Okay.
water.
Okay.
Even the groundwater bore wells were running out.
Okay.
And that was the deeper questioning of how can we bring water. And for me, this was one solution on making the Devarakadu. And for the challenge was also how do we make the sapling survive, because there is no water. And then I researched a lot. I found some African method where they were doing the pits and mulching into the pits and then planting. That was the time I also knew Shubham, a forest.
Okay.
And we looked at their method also, but that was when the closer planting method was adapted.
Got it.
But theirs was very intense, like 3 feet of compost was like, that seemed very expensive.
Okay.
And also I started following Subhash Palekar's method. So zero budget was more to, of course I didn't have any kind of
No, that
funds.
zero budget word is
So
very attractive as well,
very
right? You don't need money.
attractive. And my husband would all the time yell, what are you going to get out of there? So like ROI was always a question.
Okay. So Smita, tell me how the whole journey started. Let's walk through the Devarakadu,
Yeah.
shall we? And you can tell us how the journey started in general. Why did you?
Can you
I mean,
come?
what were you doing before this?
Yes, I'm an engineer by training.
Okay.
So, but I moved into business process re-engineering and
Okay.
process consulting. So I was with the industry for almost 16 years.
Okay.
Then I took a sabbatical with Greenpeace in 2006.
Okay.
And that sort of opened my eyes to the issues. And I actually understood that the so-called word sustainable development is actually an oxymoron. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
The way our grandparents lived was actual sustainability, and whatever we are trying to do in the name of progress is actually we are destroying our own ecosystem. We are not capable of destroying the earth, but we are capable of destroying our ecosystem and threaten our own species. So this is the camphor.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So then when we went to Auroville, I was introduced to these so many technologies that suddenly it was like, my God, all the solutions exist. For our lifestyle to shift to work with natural regeneration process of the earth. So today we are clogging it. Minor shifts, we not even like a lot of generations, we ourselves were introduced to it when we were kids. We never even had a dustbin at home when we were growing up. Everything was packed in newspaper bags from the shop, and we reused even that piece of paper.
The local grocery, there was no Blinkit, etc.
Nothing.
And we would just go to the local grocery store with a bag,
Yes.
and they would put it in the newspaper bags and
there
everything.
was- and that is no rocket science, and you don't have to innovate, nothing. And also one step back, if you go, our grandparents, the way they lived in their village, most of the things came from their backyard. And also the other concept that hit me was, oh, you can actually live without money. So
Interesting.
So you need a job because you need the income. So if you have to live on the farm, how do you take care of your income? That was the bigger question, right? How do you take care of your livelihood? Because that was a constant question my husband kept asking me. So I needed to answer him. I knew something else was going on, and because they already worked your life, you paid off your EMIs for your house. So it was easier for me to take a decision. But then the kids were still studying, and yeah, because he was there taking care of the expense, it was easy for me too. And also, I think at Auroville, the spiritual journey started for me.
Okay.
And then it was a huge withdrawal because of that.
Okay.
So I didn't have a choice. It just happened that I switched off. I wouldn't even take calls or mails. And luckily my friends understood.
So you
and
went
left
like
me
off
alone.
the grid completely.
Completely. For 2 years it was like, now I understand from the yogic term, it is called shunya phase.
Okay.
So
Like the
where
zero phase.
your consciousness is not really in the body, so you
Okay.
neither feel happy nor sad. So you're in the dead zone.
Okay.
And it took me a while to even understand what was happening. And then I tried to search for mentors. There also I wanted a woman to explain to me, scientific explanation. Because we are all brought up in that Western education. No? So
Right.
our rational mind needs that logical explanation.
Right. Right.
And for every question I asked her, she would ask me 2 more questions. So
Okay.
Then I realized, okay, it's for me to figure out.
Okay.
So slowly I did, and also it took me almost 3 years to explain to my husband what was going on. And none of us are religious. I was not even doing yoga that much those days.
And for you, I guess initially yoga must have been just a like health.
Physical, yes.
Physical thing,
2006 when I started, it was more for the health because my immunity was compromised, lymph node had swollen up.
Okay.
And so it was part of getting my health back.
Hmm.
And after a year, I started karate also. With the kids, I joined the class. And the sensei was nice enough to. That was a struggle to bring the body back. That 35 was like, but the sensei was very nice. He spent time with us.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me 2 years to get back my stamina.
Got it. And so now, when you got this farm and you were having this spiritual awakening, if I may say so,
Yes.
right? At that point of time, you were looking for solutions about how to get water back into your farm.
Yes. So how to bring water back, and also I realized it's not just water, our entire lifestyle.
Okay.
To work with the Earth's natural regeneration process, so there is enough raw materials, enough consumption, food, everything. So, but then I also realized the current method of irrigation is not the best method.
Okay.
So all the deserts that we have today used to be a thriving civilization once upon a time. And you know who told me that? Safia's father,
Okay.
Pratap Singh,
Pratap.
anthropologist, right? And he was part of the Quaker movement. And I met him at Navadarshana in 2011. That year I met a lot of people. I think that's how the universe works. And he was the one who pointed this out, and suddenly it struck me, oh yes. So what were the two things that contributed? Our sewage system and irrigation. So when you flood the soil, you're killing all the microbes. The visible one is earthworm, right? If you flood, earthworm also dies. You can't even see the other microbes. So that's what we're doing to our entire sewage system. And in 2006, I also realized
So this is a very, very interesting angle. See, people talk about how bad methods of irrigation, over irrigation create a problem.
Yes.
How taking out air, but sewage systems also really spoiling our air is not something that people talk about much.
Yeah, and I realized that was a river running next to our house in 2006, and that shocked the hell out of me.
Okay.
Because whenever we visit our grandfather's village, the open defecation was practiced when we were kids, and that was always dedicated spaces where the rain-fed irrigation would happen. Not irrigation, agriculture would happen. Only when the rains came. So we were told to only use that land, and nowhere near the drinking water bodies the defecation would happen. So that way, you would be ostracized if you ever did that.
Right.
Wells were clearly demarcated. The sewage would never run into any of these things. But today we are using the water to carry our waste out of the city.
Right.
This was the Western method we adopted.
Right.
And when I realized the Vrishabhavati river used to be running next to us, and that is we have turned into a sewage, that was like it really.
So
hit.
now the dots are connecting for me. Why is Smita doing Devarakadu or her own farming, and why is she doing PraanaPoorna Collective, where you are making stuff which reduces the requirement to go into the sewage, right? All of this chemical free stuff.
First was for me, fix the toilet cleaner. That first, the citrus peel, the
So it's all part of a grand plan. These are not two disconnected things.
Not at all.
So if you can just tell us, like in 30 seconds, what is PraanaPoorna Collective about?
Yeah, PraanaPoorna was actually created to bring prana recharge for us in the consumptions that we have in a daily use. It's even there, minimalistic consumption. It's not about a grand, luxurious way of treating, but how do we take care of our wellness? And also every item we use, whether we apply, skin is the largest organ of our body. So whatever you apply on that gets into our bloodstream. So how do we make sure we are moving away from this mainstream? I don't blame them either, right? The mainstream was because they had to make everything accessible to everybody. So whatever was the most cost-effective way, they have gone about it. So even traditionally, Ayurvedic products used beeswax as a base, but they moved away to paraffin wax and petroleum jelly because that was cheaper, and everybody's focus was shelf life. And with natural ingredients, that is difficult to get that stability. So that is when I started researching on how to get that. And also, most of the time, when I asked a question, I would get the answer through intuition. That is how the spiritual aspect starts opening. We have it from childhood. All of us have it.
It's there in our genetic memory, kind of, right?
It is there, but whether you take it seriously and attend to it or not is the other question.
Right. And whether you kind of have that confidence also. Sometimes we don't listen to our inner voices. No, I don't know anything about farming. I don't know anything about should I do it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Very interesting. So
we did these trenches.
okay, so the first thing you
initially.
did is these big trenches, right?
Yeah, big
Okay.
trenches.
Okay.
Then the big trees were planted in the trenches.
Okay.
Then
Oh,
everything-
inside the trenches
inside
itself
the
you have kind of
trenches
planted
itself,
the
yes.
big trees. Got it.
So also
And what sort of trees are typically these that you have planted inside
all
the
are
trenches?
forest species
Okay.
and FRLHT sourced
Okay.
from there.
So FRLHT
And I
is
have
basically a
map
nursery.
I'll share with you. Yes,
Okay.
they have been researching and documenting, working with all the native healers.
Okay.
So covering all the Ayush systems.
Uh-huh,
Ayush stands for Ayurveda,
Mhm.
Unani is the Muslim method, Siddha, homeopathy, Tibetan. So
Okay.
they've researched all of this and documenting everything, city, and they made a nursery collecting all the saplings to water plants to grass
Okay.
to tree species.
I think we'll do a video where we go to FRLHT and we'll talk to Mr. Ganesh maybe.
Yes.
And have him explain stuff.
So here there are 60 species
Just
And
inside this quarter acre
inside
Devarakadu.
this quarter acre. So initially there was a conflict, whether can we really plant it that close to each other.
Uh-huh.
Then I looked at the afforest method. I think they were planting even closer.
The Miyawaki
So,
method,
yes,
etc.
And Ganesh Babu was also, don't worry, just do it. And that was when some of them died, but some of them had dried up within 1 year. Okay, and I'm like, I was telling Ganesh Babu, wait, this has happened. Like, don't worry, one rain, they will all sprout back. You'll be surprised, and that's exactly what happened.
So what sort of medicinal plants are here that we can see? Anything that we can see?
That is the Mullu Muttuga we call, the
Okay.
flame of the forest with the
Ah.
thorns. And then we have, this is the Hebbalasu,
Okay.
this one.
Okay. These also have
These-
medicinal properties as
these-
well? These
Yes, all
flame
of them.
the forest,
all of
etc.
them.
Huh?
And as
Okay.
per Ganesh Babu, every plant, including Parthenium, has a medicinal value.
It's up to us to discover what
Yes,
its use
yes.
is.
And that was
Okay.
how the native healers actually worked, right? Intuitively, they could feel when there is a problem, which plant will resolve it. But in the Siddha type of medicine, it's even next level. They look at your birth star and treat. And that
So
was
actually
what we
this is
were-
always a question that I have had, which is that like all of these different plant-based medicines, I used to think initially, that oh, maybe it's like everybody has done several experimentations. But if you come to think of it, so many tens of thousands of varieties of plants, and then all the parameters can be so large
Yes.
that finding it out by experimentation alone
Yeah.
can be very difficult.
And each
So you are saying that
geography
there is
will
some
have
intuition which has helped people
and
to
each
come up with
geography
this.
will have a different set for the same purpose. And
Interesting.
also, actually, I got introduced to FRLHT through Pichandiculum forest in Auroville. That was part of our Auroville workshop. And that was where it was mind-boggling.
Right.
And we met one of the Siddha Vaidyas.
Right.
And there, I think I picked up a lot more intuitively than which I started interpreting later.
Okay. Okay.
And my own grandmother used to be a native healer, but I did not know that at that time.
Okay. Actually, one interesting parallel is if you are looking at, for example, like dogs, etc. Right? If you bring out your dog and let's say they have a problem, let's say they have a fever or something, they will keep searching and they'll find a plant. Nobody has trained that fellow, right?
Yeah.
So he's actually relying
genetic
completely
memory,
on
correct.
intuition
Yes.
and trying to figure out which plant will help fix my stuff. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
This is the soap nut tree.
Okay. Okay. We'll see the soap nut tree there as well. I think
Yes,
I
yes, that
spotted
is-
one which is
That is flowering
fruiting.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fruiting. Yeah. I will go back.
I also see that you are walking barefoot.
Yes.
Is there a specific strategy or reason behind that?
Yes.
Okay.
Barefoot farming is part of the process.
Okay.
And one, it reduces the body heat.
Okay.
So you're grounding. It's part
Okay.
of the grounding activity.
Okay.
When the Kundalini awakens and when you're active, the energy is too much for the body to handle.
Okay.
So unless you ground it and connect to earth, you can't handle it on your
Got
own.
it. Got it.
So it's the universal energy flowing through you as well. So the grounding is very important.
Okay.
So all the PraanaPoorna products, if you see, help in the grounding.
Acha.
So your aura, if it is going, your energy field is anti-clockwise, that means you're not grounding.
Okay.
So within a few seconds, actually I'll demonstrate it.
Okay.
It will go clockwise and it
Interesting.
will
Okay.
help you in the grounding process. So the easiest grounding process is to go barefoot.
Oh, there's something that I found here. Pomelo.
Yes.
or something else?
No, this is supposed to be some wild.
Some white
I
lemon.
had made
sort
the
of a thing.
saplings at home.
Huh.
It was supposed to be tangerines,
Okay.
but this came.
Okay.
This is very, very, very tangy.
So you make it pickles and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
So trying to figure out what to do, and this is how I go. So normally, I take permission before entering the space.
Okay.
So
So I should
sometimes
also
we
ask for
had the
permission,
wild
huh.
boar. Yeah, the slipper is insulating you
Okay.
from the energy.
Okay.
That
Let
is
me
why,
try it out.
yeah,
with
all these religious places we go barefoot because you want that energy to flow through you.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
like an iron box ironing your
It's
energy
just like
field.
temple. When you go into a
Cleanse.
temple, you leave your slippers outside, right?
Because you want that energy to flow through you. Even if you can wear and go, you won't get that energy. That's
Right,
it.
right.
But earlier days, because they made it with a hide,
Uh-huh.
I think that was taboo from the
Okay.
entering the spaces. So this is an agarbatti tree.
But what about snakes? That's what viewers would ask. Why are you walking barefoot? There could be snakes around.
Oh, initially I used to be so terrified, like every step I keep, but it was not so dense when we came here. And yeah, I worked. I had to work through my fear of looking at the fear, right? So that is part of the process. So initially when I used to come here, whole day I would spend on my own. I now normally would tell them not to come if the days I needed to be alone, because that's the work we have to do.
The
Look
inner
at
work to-
yourself. Inner work is nothing but to just sit with yourself, just to look at yourself and acknowledge. All the darkness is also
This is
here.
what I am thinking. This is why I am thinking that.
Yes, and all the
and so
darkness
on.
you hate out in the world is also here.
Right,
So you
right.
can't deny that.
Right. It's not like the whole world is bad and you are the only good person
Yes,
in it, right?
we are
Which
part
is
of
what
the
we
whole.
initially a lot of times we think about that, right?
So this is the people tree.
Okay.
So normally I have a habit of coming and saying hello, and
Okay. Okay.
so we've seen wild boars here, peacock's nest here a lot.
So I find it very calming. Like let's say if I'm under some stress or something, right? So in my backyard I have one big. It's a volunteer, but it's a ficus, big, thick.
Wow.
It has become.
Okay.
So I go ahead and just catch it.
Yes.
You know, and if I stay there for a minute, my stress will go away.
Yeah, your
you know?
energy field would have shifted.
Yeah. So this happens.
They would have absorbed all your negative energy
Correct.
and grounded it, because they are grounded. That's why they are all called benign beings.
Okay.
So even if you hit them, they don't get angry back at you. They just take. And that is their role. All the animals are also supposed to be. And at Auroville, then there is Sita Ashoka.
Okay.
This was the latest addition. 5 years back I started. Then Rudraksh is also coming.
Okay. And this place you don't need to water or anything?
No, not at all.
Okay. Okay.
Now they've grown. Initial 2 years we took
So
care.
tell me something. So you mentioned that Devarakadu was one of the solutions that came to you from a, okay, how do I,
Oh, so it was through what is called consciousness writing.
okay,
Actually a chart came about.
okay,
I don't even know how it happened. Then I actually documented it.
Okay.
We started doing children's workshops initially.
okay.
Where with that Uta from Tota. That was where we started when we were demonstrating, how to make bioenzyme, how to make soap nuts, and between the two replace all the Then when nobody was getting into doing this, we had to jump in and say, okay, we will only try to showcase and mainstream and not grow like a brand, but balance all the three pillars of planet and people and try to see. So every step we've tried to do large scale B2B. Now only last year we realized that's not going to happen. So go slow. So slow down now.
Devarakadu getting back water into your farm, what happened? Did it actually work?
Yeah, 1 year after making this, the saplings were very small. We got water. Of course, there was another project that happened. Yogeshwar, CP Yogeshwar was responsible. They connected all the lakes and they started pumping water from Igloo Dam to Kanwa Dam. Because this was famine hit at that time.
So it was a famine hit area.
Almost all the borewells had run dry. Even the village didn't have drinking water.
And in this 3 acres, you don't have a borewell at all.
No, just the well now.
And it's so green even without a borewell or
Yes.
anything like that.
Yeah. Now that was where the planning was done. The first 1 acre is the hut and the well and this sacred grove.
Walk through that.
And the last patch actually I put banana initially because that was so dry and hot. This is called tapsi.
Okay.
This is the agarbatti tree.
Okay.
And
Agarbatti tree as in?
Yeah, it's like a sambrani tree.
Okay.
The fragrance, it's used for its fragrance.
Which part of it do you use for?
Bark. So just now I picked the flower, I'll show it to you. It didn't have any fragrance.
Okay.
The bark is, and the resin, I think the tree resin will come. Ha. So this is your, what we call narle kudi.
Okay.
My grandmother used to make chutney out of this every 2 months for us.
Okay.
This
By
and
the way, on Farmizen, Seshu from Hampi Farms, he is selling chutney made out of this.
yes. So this is the best way our body can absorb the calcium.
Acha.
So no tablet can help us actually.
Okay.
So you, with the tender ones, you can use the whole of this. With the older ones, you have to scrape the skin.
Okay.
You have to roast it a little bit, otherwise the itch can be very high. And in fact, we used to take workshops. We introduced it. A lot of the organic terrace gardening groups have started growing it. It grows easily in your balcony also.
Right. Even in pots also.
Pots, easily
it
it will grow.
Right. It's called Haddi Jor also.
Yes, it's a best bone healer.
Okay.
And
So who should be consuming this?
yeah,
Everybody
especially
or-
women after 35, osteoporosis hits them. So this is one excellent source of calcium for them. This beetle leaves are also a good source.
Yes. What is this big clump?
Yeah, this is the Indian wormwood, Dhavana also it's called, and this we source from FRLHT.
Okay.
It is
And it
excellent.
growing like almost like a jungle, right?
Yes, finally I got it stable here so that we make the antifungal skin butter with this.
Okay.
And all your fungal issues, especially for newborn babies,
Okay.
the nappy rashes, the any fungal
Diaper rashes and
itching,
stuff,
it
okay.
works excellent.
Okay.
And so I had to increase, we don't buy the raw material from the market.
Okay.
So whatever we grow, we will only make
I wonder
with
whether
our-
a botanical extract from Indian wormwood would help in fungus issues even in farming. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so we
Probably.
also work with an aromatherapist. So
Okay.
he suggested I do a dry powder out of it also
Okay.
because fungal oil base is not always the best method. So that's why I had to increase the production.
Okay.
So till we do, we will not sell it. And if we run out of stock, I mean, if we run out of raw material, we are out of stock.
Got it.
That is our model right now.
What is this purple thing here?
This is the tincture plant.
Okay. What is that?
This is excellent. The juice can heal any deep wound, stop bleeding within 30 seconds.
Okay. So if I get a cut, then
Yes.
I should just take one of this.
Yeah, I'll show you. Take about 5 leaves.
Okay.
Are you recording?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so with the ball of your palm. Oh, for me, even the pet had once he had gotten stuck somewhere and he had bitten and there was a deep wound.
Okay.
And this is what I've been using for the last 12 years.
Wow. Okay.
So this, you get a tincture,
Okay.
the purple color, that's what it's called. So this also, forest department is selling these saplings.
It's called tincture.
Tincture
plant?
plant.
Any other name? Any local name or Kannada name or?
No, I have put that scientific name there, Hemgraphis alternata. See, so like this,
Huh.
the juice comes.
Okay.
You just apply this to any wound. I
Oh,
have
wow.
been, so this,
This
only
is like
comes,
how like potassium permanganate or betadine.
Yes.
It's basically nature's betadine.
I have been using as a Dettol for all my kids.
Huh.
It can also grow in a balcony garden.
Okay.
And even for the pets' wounds, we keep doing
Okay.
this.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. You have to decide whether you are going to be behind the camera or in front of the camera.
The ball of your palm is important. The ball, yeah. Yeah, that pressure will come.
Like, got it. But ठीक है. This I can. I
Ha,
can
see,
put like
got it, yes.
Fine.
Yes. So this was my experiment with, I attended Vernacular architecture in Himachal.
Okay.
Then I wanted to experiment with how the locals, this was how they lived.
Okay.
All the raw materials has been sourced within 3 kilometers.
Okay.
And
What is the
that's-
roof made out of?
this is the bamboo
Mhm.
and this is from the arecanut. And these coils are from the coconut tree again.
Okay.
And these are arecanut again,
Trunks.
trunks. And that is the coconut fronds
So in terms
woven.
of maintenance, what do you need to do every 1 or 2 years? What should you do?
Yeah, weekly, like our body, it needs dusting and
Inside
that's
dusting,
about it.
etc.
And once in 2 years, we have to replace the roof.
The full structure or just the
Just
fronts?
this, just the front,
Oh.
not the support.
These
structure.
things will all last a lifetime.
That'll stay. Yeah.
Do they need to be treated with something before?
Yes,
putting
we did neem oil.
it? Okay.
We keep doing this every 3 months. We do neem oil, otherwise termites.
Some people I've heard, not here, but where they use cashew oil.
Cashew oil,
as
yes. So my sister sent me cashew seed oil also because that they get that while roasting the cashew seeds.
So this is your storeroom sort of a thing, or?
No. This is
These
the
are
meditation and
Nice.
so earlier we were storing all the coconuts here, but the
And
rats
even
started.
people can sleep also, right?
Yes,
If they come,
yes.
They can sleep here.
Yeah, the attic was made for that. I used to sleep here before we built that other hut.
So this is basically bamboo,
That's also bamboo.
and here also.
These are all areca nut.
areca nut.
This
Areca
is
nut
also
on top of
this
that.
is also bamboo. Yeah.
Got it. And a nice ladder here.
So this was like solid. We built the wall with mud from the land. So you have to build it
the
6
mud
inches.
is also from here, and
Yeah.
even the floor is
mud.
floor.
And we
Oh,
keep
this is
doing
so
the
good.
cow dung
Okay.
to maintain it and sweep every day.
Okay.
And this one, every 6 inches, you have to wait for 2 days for it to dry before you build the next 6 inches.
Acha. So how much time does it take to build a like this?
Oh, so first they build the roof
Huh.
and then they start with the wall. So
Acha.
that if it rains,
They
the
can
wall is
quickly put it.
protected. So these walls, only thing is the water shouldn't fall from top. Otherwise it can erode the wall. Otherwise this stays forever.
Okay. So but if it rains, what do you do then at that point of time?
No, they cover the walls.
Acha.
Make sure the walls are covered. Now actually the roof is leaking. We had one huge horde of monkeys here
Okay.
from somewhere, and then all the neighboring
So
farmers
in
got together.
retrospect, now if you were to again start a farm from scratch, would you do this sort of a structure, or do you think it's too much of hangama? What is your opinion?
This space feels alive. So definitely, and I also heard a lot of other workshops where I attended. People in Delhi are building one of this mud hut in their large garden so that they can meditate inside. So it is easy for you to focus because all 4 sides you are covered with mud, right? And this is a living, breathing space. Always cooler from outside and warmer from outside in the cold weather.
So now, how much would it cost to build a hut like this, mud hut like this?
8 years ago, it costed us 1.2 lakhs.
That's
Out of which literally the raw materials were almost free, labor. So like for the example, these bamboo, it grows all over here on somebody's farm or another. So you don't have to pay for the bamboo, but the laborers should be ready. The farmers were ready to go get it. So they may take 4 days or 5 days to cut it and carry it here. And that is what we ended up spending on. And the areca nut trees, I think 2,000 or something per whoever had it on their farm. Then you need, these people should be ready to cut it and carry it. That was important. And then the saw.
But like, who are the folks? Do all villages have people who know how to build these things? There is
Most of them lived in huts like this, so they know.
Okay.
And the wall, nobody knew. Actually, they had seen their grandfather doing it when they were a child. And because I attended the Vernacular architecture program at Dharamalaya in Himachal, then I had some idea and I was ready to experiment. So we did.
Very interesting. And what is the reason for having like a elevated?
Yeah, that is another storage space.
Okay.
So when we were storing the coconuts below, I made that as a sleeping space.
Got it.
Or initially we were supposed to store the coconuts on top. But the rat infestation was so much.
So, what is this?
So this is the tincture plant. So I
Okay.
cut it on Monday and I kept it here for shade drying.
Okay.
So any medicinal herb, you're supposed to shade dry. So it can retain its, whatever is its medicinal property will be retained inside.
So I have one question. So you have a bunch of different products which we are going to talk about. Now these products, so there are obviously medicinal values, etc., which are there. Now the modern consumer always wants to know what is the scientific basis of it, right?
Yeah.
So how do you answer that question typically?
Yes, so there is, thanks to FRLHT and the organizations like them, they've started documenting all this. This comes under the traditional knowledge database.
Okay.
So this is being documented now, and the toxicity in that too, what is the side effects. That is why in Ayurveda, they don't use one ingredient, they use multiple ingredients, one to counter the side effects of another.
Acha. So the whole combination is important.
Combination
not
is
just one
also
thing.
important, but in my case what I went ahead with single ingredient.
Got it.
I've tried to keep it simple, no complication. And for some it works fantastic, for some it may not work.
Got it.
But I went with keeping everything our daily wellness only bare minimum, not trying to complicate the whole process, and also because we don't use any heat.
Got it. Do you want to tell us quickly show a few of your products, and then we'll head to the rest of the farm
Yes.
as well?
Yeah. So This is part of the gut detox.
Okay.
So castor oil was always used on the belly or for navel area. It reduces your body heat, detoxes the whole body. And as a child, once a week on top of the head and the whole body, we would be put the castor oil and made to sit in the sun.
Got it.
And like, you know, all three of us would get a bath. Dad, because scrubbing it off was a big task. So with the shikakai powder and all that. So that was our childhood. And I had stopped it for a long time. And in 2011, when the spiritual practices started, I realized the body heat was not coming down. And that was when I remembered the castor oil and I started reusing. So now what we do is infuse the castor oil with the sambrani.
Okay.
So the fragrance, castor oil is not really a very pleasant smell. So, so this is
smelling edible almost.
yes. And so what I do is put one drop whenever you go out to the sun, one drop on the top of the head, your pitta is managed.
Okay.
And on your navel again, every night when you go to bed. So your entire digestive system it can fix. It actually works excellent nervous system also. So we made a calming tummy balm. So the anticolic for babies.
Okay.
Just by blending the same sambrani castor oil with beeswax.
Okay.
And this even elders can apply on for any
Are people
indigestion.
reporting back good results with these things?
Yes, yes. So we have also started now on first cry.
Okay.
So we are getting, especially the antifungal, we are getting excellent results, even the baby balm. And this was the other arrowroot. We started growing.
You're growing at this farm itself, right?
Yeah, these expense to just grow and harvest because you have to crush the stem. And then like 300 kg of stem yielded about 10 kg of the powder. So the cost of it was so high. So when I tried to sell the powder by itself, nobody was interested. And then I realized companies like Himalaya to the mainstream where they're going talc free, arrowroot powder is what is being used.
So what is this going to be used for? Like what? Do you recommend?
Antifungal, excellent antifungal, and can be used as a dry shampoo.
Okay.
So currently we've launched it like a baby powder for the bum rash and basically to keep the skin dry.
Got it. And is talc bad in general?
Yes, yes.
Why is it bad?
It's cancer causing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God! And we all use this Johnson's baby powder. This,
exactly.
That's all talc.
So to cut costs,
oh my God.
talc came in, and these were all earlier used. Even corn flour is used in some cases, but corn flour is like more of the edible starch.
Okay. Wow.
And this was always used by the grandmothers, even what they call grandige shops.
Okay.
This was sold to stop dysentery of the babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, thin arrowroot biscuits also I think came up from that.
Yes,
Itself,
that is
right?
more from a nutrition this thing. But this, you make a porridge out of this, and a lot of our friends have started using it for their grandparents. Yeah, this is the black turmeric. This again we've sourced it from the forest department nursery. Okay. And first we thought it was the the kasturi turmeric.
Here.
Yeah, we're growing it. In fact, I had initially put it in the Devarakadu area. Okay. It came with one of the saplings. Okay. And then we were trying to find out what is this. It smells almost like camphor at times.
Can you smell it?
Yeah. So then I found out that it has excellent medicinal properties. Okay. Then I went into research and actually looked at the scientific papers, and then we only make a powder out of this, no additives.
Okay. How do people use it?
This for blemishes, as a face scrub, as a face pack. Yeah,
or face pack. Okay.
Either mix it with water or with milk.
And wherever you have blemishes, you just put it there.
Yes.
Apply every
yeah,
day
it is extremely. It's good even for the melasma. For me, I had developed a little because of the B12 deficiency. Okay. That helped immensely for me.
Okay. And what else? What is this winter wellness immunity booster pack?
Yes. So that is for your cold and coughs, and also it works on your throat chakra.
Okay. Basil spray.
Basil. Yeah.
Which
this is
basil?
our.
Which type of basil?
The Krishna Tulsi, the black Tulsi.
Okay.
And this is an essential oil that we blend. The base is the soap nut enzymes and the bioenzymes. So we've replaced we've replaced 100% chemical base with the bioenzymes.
And how do you use it? You just spray it?
Yes, on your palm.
Okay.
Okay. So normally this is called a dowsing method of using a pendulum. You can even use your normal gold chain. Okay. So mine is right now going clockwise. Okay. Clockwise means positive. Let us check your palm.
Nothing
so
is
it's
moving.
Neutral right now. Okay. So you are not yet grounding.
Okay. Okay.
but it's not negative, but it's neutral. So we will first try the basil spray,
Okay.
the tulsi spray.
Okay.
So normally this is a immunity booster. So
Okay.
if you have, we'll also do it at the base of your throat.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay, now let us check. So you are supposed to actually inhale. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of people with breathing issues have also been, they found it useful. Okay.
Some movement is there.
Yes, yes. So now your energy is positive.
Okay.
So this helped your energy to ground.
Okay.
Now you're earthing. So also you have immunity issues.
Okay.
That's why this worked. If you don't have immunity issues, this will not work.
Acha.
So, so we are doing the reverse way. Normally, our acupuncturist or aromatherapist will check which chakra is not in balance and then prescribe.
Okay.
So we do the reverse of saying either this or the castor oil would have worked for you.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Interesting.
And this is
So
the
how do people use this? They just spray it on their
yeah.
body, or
So our intention is you use it like an energy spray, either when you're sitting around you or on your body also. So normally on the palm and inhaling is the ideal. Underarms also is working fantastic, but we are yet to get that entire paperwork done for the deodorizing replacement. And this is the cold rub made with edible camphor.
okay.
So edible camphor dissolved in coconut oil.
Acha.
You can smell that.
So it's like instead of
Just
Vicks
like your
Vapor Rub,
Vicks
etc.,
Vapor
you
Rub.
can
Yes,
just use.
it totally replaces.
Ah.
And no paraffin wax, the base is beeswax.
Okay.
So this a lot of babies are using and found it excellent. And they can apply it on their this thing. All our products are newborn safe,
Got it. Got it.
and we've tested the non-toxicity also. We give it to a regular lab which tests the other products as well, and then get it.
What
done.
is this?
This is the sambrani.
Acha, which is used in your sambrani oil,
Yes.
etc.
So all our skin healing skin butter. This is the bigger pack. This has the fragrance that you get is the sambrani fragrance. And this is the aroma oil that is dissolved in the coconut oil. This is my soap.
Acha.
I don't use soap.
Okay.
So this is what I use, like your body milk, and then wash it off with hot water.
Okay, that's it.
So that's it moisturizes, because I have dry skin as well.
Okay.
So I can't use even the soap nut. Only when I shampoo my hair, we use the soap nut shampoo.
Got it.
So this is also for your gut detox. So we started making a ginger syrup. This is a probiotic drink, 7-day ferment
Okay.
of native ginger with jaggery. No water added.
So it's kind of like a kombucha type ka
Yes,
things.
yes. But this is like a concentrate. You can use it like a syrup also.
Acha, so you should not drink
Cold
the whole
and
bottle,
cough.
not like a full kombucha bottle.
No. You can dilute it and have.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm also experimenting with another with the fermented with tamarind. That is more like kombucha. And this is the dry ginger powder.
Okay.
We collected this from all the beetle leaf farms from around.
Acha.
These are all what they had. They grow it only for themselves, the native ginger, because they are smaller in size. They're not commercially. They don't. And this is the ginger candy we made.
Acha.
Same fermentation process
With jaggery and
with jaggery
okay.
and ginger. That's it. Fresh ginger.
So these are all very relevant right now in this
Yes,
weather,
in
because
this
everybody
weather.
is getting cough and cold, like especially in Bangalore.
Yeah. And these are all the oils that we
Can I
make.
try some
That's-
ginger candy?
Yes, yes, please take. This is anyway going to be for you. Very, very spicy. Watch. Yeah.
It is spicy.
So this is for cold and cough, especially who have. So this is also for the gut.
Okay.
So this fixes the stomach, and this these two increases your body heat.
Right.
And this one is vata balancing.
Okay.
The powder does not increase the
And how
body
do you
heat.
use the powder?
You can either have it with honey first thing in the morning if you are having any breathing issues. Otherwise, use it in your tea or as a flavoring substance.
I see you have some bees comb.
Oh yes. So there was a. I wanted to show where does the beeswax come from. Is a lot of them ask the question. So I just picked it up. There was a hive there.
Okay.
So this, after the larvae will be there, and the bees would have collected the honey in these in the comb, and there will be the pollen that would be collected. If you see, this is all the pollen. That's the
Acha,
propolis.
blocked ones. This
Propolis,
one.
yeah.
This is supposed to be a superfood.
Superfood, yes. So now all of this, what we do is we buy from the urban beekeepers who make the beekeeping equipment. So this is the hive that is left after the honey is removed, and after this is dropped into boiling water, and this is the beeswax that is sold in the market.
Got it.
But currently, because it is little more expensive than the paraffin wax, the easily contamination can happen. So we try to source it from the market. We could not source any authentic ones.
Okay.
So we buy the unrefined. So they further add some additives and make it white in color. So, but what happens in the refining process? All this propolis and the goodness of whatever remaining honey and the medicinal property goes off.
So when you use beeswax in your products, then that retains some of these, the pollen, etc. as well.
We buy the unrefined. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we buy it from the honey day. They also sell honey, and they make equipment for you to keep bees on urban beekeeping.
Right. Apurva. Right?
Apurva, yes, and Guru Prasad. So this is what I wanted to show. So what happens there in the healing skin butter? This acts like a natural preservative.
Okay.
And even the sambrani is a natural preservative. Their molecular structure is hexagonal, if you see. So this gives the whole thing stability. And this is extremely highly healing for any skin issues.
So how many products do you make now totally?
80.
80, wow. What is this?
There's a mosquito repellent for the room sprays.
Okay.
And this is for the fabric.
This is a room spray.
Fabric is different, and this is the room.
Okay, so
and
this you put it in the room. This is a mosquito spray that you do on your
fabric
body.
This is
but
for
not
outdoor.
directly on your body, but on your clothes.
Yes. Even if it falls on the body, nothing. And this is for the body, the balm.
Basically your natural odomos.
Yes, natural odomos, yes. So we have this also in concentrate form.
Okay.
So once this is a ready to use, they can dilute 90% with water and use.
Okay, got it.
So the apartments pick it up from us in the 20-liter cans for their outdoor garden areas.
Okay, and it works.
It works. They've been for 4 years now.
Because we should use it in our complex also, because like they come and they do all this spraying, and I have told them, see, first I tried to say don't use this at all, but everybody else said no, you have to use it, dengue is coming, etc. So I said, theek hai.
See,
don't spray in my garden. Spray like this, but don't spray in my garden.
So only when the dengue cases went up, Good Earth community only used it in that 1 month. Otherwise, they don't use anything in their garden either. Indoors they'll use. We have both indoor and outdoor.
Yeah, so along the way, I was lucky enough to have the local farmers and the local farmer wives, the women, helped me with, all the experiments that I wanted to do. Without their enthusiasm, I don't think anything of this would be possible. So some of the practices we revived were like, building a mud hut, using local resources, and everything has come within 3 kilometers of this space. And from the bamboo poles to the woven coconut fronds on the roof. And we actually make the roof first and then build the walls. And all of this they taught me, because though I attended a vernacular architecture workshop, it was not easy for me to do at immediately after the training. So, but they lived in these huts, and so they were able to build this. And even the well that was made was what is called bale bavi, means a bangle, like a ring is created either with a concrete. And as you dig the sand in the middle, the rings start sinking, and that's how they create a well. And this is mostly done in sandy areas. So you cannot make a bore well here. You cannot drill into the sand. So this was amazing. And none of the, even the fallen coconut trees, it was like for me, how can I let this go waste? How can we reuse? And actually, 3 or 4 decades ago, they had the machine which could cut the coconut tree. But today, they've all gotten rid of it because none of them are actually making use of the coconut tree, even the fallen ones. So we thought we will experiment by making the stairs and, the stools that people can sit on when they visit. Yeah, the other experiment was using the soap nut spray on the mango trees. and also the wood ash. And it treated the fungal treat of infections of the mango trees. Fantastic response we had, and we've actually this journey has been an experiment and a discovery, of how we are discovering the resilience and the harmony of living with the land. And a lot of times it takes a lot of time, but I'm in no hurry. This farming journey has been about rediscovering ancient wisdom, traditional practices, and aligning our lives with Earth's natural rhythms. Now I'm immersed in the rhythms of the seasons, working with the land and not against it. This isn't just farming, it's a spiritual practice. I'm learning to listen to the whispers of the wind, the wisdom of the ancient trees, and the quiet voice within. The interconnectedness between myself, the soil, and the universe is awe-inspiring. The best part? I'm thriving. My body, mind, and spirit are finally in harmony. Devarakadu has been an ancient practice of sacred spaces where only the native healers would go for harvesting medicinal in whatever ingredients they require to treat the locals. So this was named after that, where we have created this quarter acre on this land, and this sacred space has actually nurtured my spirit. Grounding with barefoot farming, embracing the natural, the digital detox. When I'm in nature, I would have left my phone somewhere. It's like it actually recharges my soul and gives me energy to work for the rest of the week. Whatever we are doing, I feel the earth is responding, and actually I feel the earth has taken over me and giving me instructions on what to do. Because when I ask that deep question, how to bring back water or how to improve our immunity, the instructions come on how to fix this. And this is actually called consciousness writing. And without realizing, I had been doing that. And entire PraanaPoorna experiment is part of this discovery of how we can actually revive the local traditional ingredients and bring back our immunity. And this sense of euphoria I feel every day, just to be alive, just to breathe. I think that's the biggest fulfillment that I have felt when I connected with the earth.